Welcome to Booked, the bookstore education podcast brought to you by the American Booksellers Association. This episode is part of our Indies Introduced series, where we spotlight debut authors handpicked by booksellers from around the country. In each episode, a bookseller from the Indies Introduced panel will interview the author of a debut title featured in our program.
Hi everyone, I'm Frederick Rossero from Oblong Books in Millerton and Rhinebeck, New York, and I'm here talking with Juan Zambrano. He's an illustrator and cartoonist from Venezuela. He loves fun, heartfelt stories, and his work is usually focused on nature, magic, and staying true to yourself. In his free time, he likes watching birds and going out for a hike, which I also love. Pacheco and the Witch of the Mountain is his debut graphic novel, on sale in the US on June 17th. Hi, Juan.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me.
I'm really excited to have this conversation. I really loved Pacheco and the Witch of the Mountain when we were reading for Indies Introduced. It was one of the earlier ones I read, and immediately I knew it was going to make the list. It was going to be a standout. I thought it was so adorable and sweet and just like perfect for kids.
Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
So first I wanted to talk about the setting of Pacheco and the Witch of the Mountain. I thought it was just so magical and beautiful. I know it's based on Venezuela and some of the mythology and history of the country and area. What about Venezuela did you want most to shine through in this book?
Well, I think it was a little bit of everything. Back when I first started working on this book and this story, the first thing I ever did was draw a witch in the woods with a cauldron and a black cat, which is, very stereotypical for a witch. But then I realized that I wanted to make something that was a little bit more familiar to me, which is why I decided to make Doris a Venezuelan witch. And that's how slowly the story became what it is today. So now some of the witches are based on regions from Venezuela, such as Consuelo is from the Andes, and Barbara is from Los Llanos, and so on. So the people, of course, but also the landscapes of Venezuela. The mountain is based on El Guaraíra Repano, which is a mountain in Caracas, where I grew up. So yeah, a little bit of everything, our traditions, culture, our people.
I love that. I love that you made it more your own because it's just so unique and special. And I really love that like the characters and the landscape are so tied together. So how was the process of making this book? Reading it feels like so joyful and wonderful. Were there any parts of it that were frustrating for you, or was it joyful like throughout?
Well, honestly, I had a blast working on this book, but it wasn't always easy, to be fair, because growing up, I would draw comics for my friends, for my family to post on the internet. But even as a professional illustrator, I had never worked on a project as big as this one. So, writing the script and drawing hundreds of pages, that was very demanding. But also very rewarding. I really learned a lot from this process. I really enjoyed working with my editor, Cindy Harris, and my wonderful agent, Jason Jorn. And yeah, there was a lot that I had to learn on the fly. But yeah, I'm very grateful that I had this chance. I really enjoyed it, and I would do it again.
Oh, that's good to hear. So I felt like it was like a really trim and well-made story. Like it didn't feel like there was a lot in there that didn't need to be in there. But did that mean that you had to cut anything that was like kind of precious to you?
Well, no, not really. I was able to have all of the elements that I wanted to have in the story. I wanted to explore a little bit more of some characters, some of their backstories, but I kept what was necessary for the story, and that only.
That's great. So yeah, one of my favorite parts of this book is all the incredible characters that were in it. I felt like each and every human character was so vivid and interesting. And I mean, all the creatures were amazing. Like, so many of them felt very like Pokemon-y in their appeal to me, which is great because I'm a 90s kid. And I know the creatures are in part based on mythology and legend, but do any of the humans have real life counterparts? Is there anybody you know in this book?
Well, not exactly. So none of the characters are directly based on any real people, but their designs are. For example, Providencia, the villain, when I was working on her design, I wanted her to be imposing and to be like very elegant and have this powerful aura because she has so much, yeah, power. And so I was looking up Venezuelan divas, and I came across this Venezuelan singer, Mirla Castellanos, whom my grandma used to love.
Oh,
And yeah, I based her design on her, like a little bit of her. And also, she has songs such as Muera el amor, which means let love die, which I believe are very fitting for a villain
yeah.
such as Providencia. So yeah, not exactly any character is based on a real person, but yeah, their design is.
That's amazing. Yeah, Providencia was very glamorous, so I can definitely see where that inspiration comes from. Other than Pacheco, your main character, who is your favorite character from the story? And in addition to that, which of all these cute, amazing little creatures is your favorite?
That's a hard question. Well, creature, I think that's easier. It's my favorite creature is Pimenton, which is the creature on the back cover, because I don't know, he has fire powers, and I really enjoyed working on his design. He's based on a jaguar and a dancing devil of Yare mask, which is a tradition from Venezuela. It's a tradition where people wear these colorful devil masks and dance to the beat of drums. So I really enjoyed working on him. But person, that's harder to answer. Maybe Doris, but that would be too easy, you
Mm.
know? I really like her. He's smart. She's smart, and she knows a lot about magic and nature. But maybe Barbara, you know? I really
Yes,
enjoyed working on her as well. She's very
I
strong,
loved
and I
Barbara.
I would
She's
love to
so,
explore more of her.
yeah, Barbara is so like straightforward and to the point, and I loved that about her. Um, so of those two characters, would they be your first choice of companion if you had to take a magical adventure like Pacheco does?
Well, probably Doris, but she doesn't want to be bothered, so Barbara.
Fair. And I really feel like this is a story that kids will love so much. I mean, from the story arc itself to the characters and the creatures and the setting. Do you have kids in your life that you wrote this for, or was this really just for your own inner child?
I think I wrote this for my inner child, or rather for my younger self, you know? When I was growing up, sometimes I would feel like I didn't fit in with the other kids. I didn't have a lot of friends. Um, I couldn't relate to them sometimes. And also, as a teenager, I wanted to become an artist or an animator. And coming from where I'm from, I didn't know if that was going to be possible. So it felt like a dream that was way too big for me. So yeah, this is a story that definitely I would have loved my younger self to read so that he would know, you know, it's okay not to fit in. It's okay that you're weird. Everyone is. So, and you'll find your place in the world. And it's okay to follow your dreams. And if there's anything that I would love kids to take from this book is that exactly.
I love that. And you can so see that in Pacheco's story. I really feel like there's in the beginning this kind of sense of isolation. His world is a little small. He has his grandfather and his father, and they fish, and that's what they do. And it feels like his dreams are maybe being stifled a little bit, but as he grows and explores the world, everything kind of expands for him. So I
Yeah.
thought that was really beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, that's about the end of my questions for you. Did you have anything else you wanted to add about Pacheco and the Witch of the Mountain, the story, the process, anything like that?
Well, I really enjoyed working on this book. It was a labor of love. So I hope that if the people who are listening to this pick up the book, I hope that you enjoy it. And I don't know, maybe that it inspires you to draw your own witches or, start writing your own stories.
That's amazing. Do you have anything else in the works currently?
Well, I'm working on a little something, but I can't talk too much about it.
Hmm.
But maybe soon. We'll see.
That's exciting. I'm really glad to hear that. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me. It was really nice to talk to you.
Thank you so much for having me and also for choosing Pacheco for the list. It's such an honor to be part of this list with so many wonderful debut authors as well. Thank you.
That's great. And remember, everybody, Pacheco and the Witch of the Mountain is on sale in the United States on June 17th. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Booked, the bookstore education podcast brought to you by the American Booksellers Association. Don't forget to subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast app. Additional educational resources can always be found on the ABA site at www.bookweb.org. Happy reading!